Hey, we're talking today about whether Tampa Bay, Florida is a dangerous place to live. Hey everybody, is Tampa Bay, Florida a dangerous place to live? Well, there are certain things you need to know about. I'm Tim Carroll with Team TLC Maharan Associates in Tampa. We are experts in the Tampa Bay area. And what I'm here to talk about today is the dangers of living in Tampa Bay. And there are some. One is the flooding. Now, we live in an area where there's a lot of lakes, there's a lot of rivers, and there's a lot of streams. When we get a big storm, like let's take, for example, Hurricane Florence came in, the lakes get filled up, the rivers get filled up, and if you live near those areas, you're going to get flooded out. They have flood zones. Everybody knows what they are. If you're with a professional realtor that knows the area, they can guide you through that scenario. And basically, the flooding happens during the storm. When the storm's over, within a day or two, everything recedes. The beaches, you're going to get flooded there too, but the flood goes under the houses if they're up on stilts typically. Not a lot of damage. In the meantime, that's probably one of the big things in Tampa Bay is flooding here and there, only during the storm season, which is probably, I think it's from June 1st till November 30th. Now, one thing you can do is flood insurance. It's peace of mind. Flood insurance is something that people can consider if they're in a flood zone, depending upon the flood zone you're in. Right now, I'm 80 feet above sea level, which you wouldn't think we're going to get flooded out, but I live by a lake, so there's a chance water could come up onto my property. So, may want to have flood insurance. It's up to you. Sometimes the lender will let you know. Meantime, the second thing we talk about here in Florida as far as dangers is hurricanes. Hurricane season, as I mentioned earlier, is June 1st to November 30th. I think I mentioned October earlier, but it's November 30th. And we've had hurricanes like Bonnie, Floyd, Florence, Matthew, Dorian. And what they basically, you prepare for it just like you would prepare for a snowstorm. You go to the store, you get a lot of water, you get everything you need for the couple of days you're going to be stuck in the house. You can run away from a hurricane. You get plenty of notice. You get an idea what's going on. If you live in an area where you have to be evacuated, you should evacuate. The reason why you should evacuate is because the emergency vehicles can't get to you. So if they can't get to you, you're going to be in trouble if something happens. So it's best to evacuate when they tell you to. Hurricanes can be very scary, but if you shut down your house, lock it up, you can always drive out of town. Go away for a little vacation up to Georgia, which I do all the time when there's a hurricane, if it's a bad one. If it looks like it's going to be a direct hit, it's probably best to get out of the area. And, you know, a Cat 3 or a Cat 4, and when I say that, it's a Category 3 or a Category 4. If that's coming your way, it's best to buckle down hard or to get out of the area. But in the meantime, you've got plenty of time to know what's going to happen and prepare. That's the best thing about that. The next thing that we talk about in Tampa, in Florida, basically is sharks. Now, there are sharks in the water all the time, and they usually hang around certain areas, so best to not let people swim near the piers. Why is that? Because people are fishing off the piers. When you're fishing off the piers, you're throwing out chum, you're throwing out fish that you're not using, bait, and the sharks are there for easy pickings. And if you happen to be swimming there during that time, you may become easy pickings, which you don't want to happen. Now, the one thing I came to find out is more people get killed by vending machines than by sharks annually. What does that make? I don't know how a vending machine would kill you. Perhaps it falls on top of you because you're shaking it. I don't know how it works. But either way, that's the theory. Or that's the idea that more people get killed by vending machines than by sharks. So the best thing to do is just heed the warnings at the beach and don't swing by piers, and you should be fine. If you stay away from the sharks will stay away from you. They're not looking to do anything with you. Another thing about Florida that could be dangerous is something that we have, which is alligators. We have alligators everywhere. They can usually be found in every lake, in every pond. Everywhere in Florida that there's some kind of water, you usually may find an alligator. Even on the rivers, you'll see an alligator. I've seen many of them, and they've never bothered me. The smart thing to do when you're in a situation with alligators is just go away, stay away from them. You don't let your children swim in lakes in Florida because there's alligators. You don't let your dog go out without a leash if he's a little dog because there's alligators. Alligators usually stay away from you. They will only go back to a lake if they were born there. A lot of times they go back there to mate, so you may see an alligator come back and forth, but a lot of times they're a lazy animal, typically, so they don't really move around much. And if they see you, they're not going to bother you. They really won't. So don't be afraid of alligators, really. Just stay away. And one of the things that people think about when they think about moving to Florida is heat and sun. How is that going to impact me? Well, we're closer to the equator here in Florida. So the sun is going to be hotter. The heat is going to be a bit more intense. How to combat that? Drink a lot of water. And remember to always reapply sunscreen when you're here in Florida. Also, we have a lot of air conditioning, and we have lots of pools and lots of places to go swim. One place you can go to cool off that a lot of people aren't aware of is the springs in Florida. We have probably 7 natural springs, I think, or more. And they're some of the most beautiful places you'll ever go. And the water is, I think, 72 degrees. Nice and cool for someone who wants to go swimming in a 95, 98 degree day. So I think that, just the heat can really affect people. So it's best to make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you got your sunscreen on and you're good to go. The last thing that's a dangerous thing sometimes in Florida is snowbirds. Now, if you're not aware of what a snowbird is, that is a person that comes to Florida from October to probably March.
Wait a minute!
Dangerous thing sometimes in Florida is snowbirds. Now, if you're not aware of what a snowbird is, that is a person that comes to Florida from October to probably March. So you got a 6-month period of people coming to Florida that are what we call snowbirds. Now, they are unfamiliar with the Florida rules. They're unfamiliar with the Florida roads. They don't understand a lot of what we got going on here. So you're going to have a lot of people that are confused. A lot of them, I wouldn't say a lot, but a good portion of them are elderly people that come to vacation for the 3 or 4 months, and they're confused in general about the roads and not really sure where they're going, what they're doing. So my advice to everybody that's in Florida or everybody that moves to Florida during that snowbird season, be just a bit more patient on the road and give yourself a little bit more space between the other vehicles, because you never know who's in front of you that has no idea where they're going and aren't even sure what road they're on. And that really, just be cautious and safe when driving when the snowbirds are in town. That's what I would do. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, could you ring that bell? And if you could subscribe down below and hit the button, that would be great. In the meantime, I'll see you soon. Tim Carroll, Team TLC, signing off.